Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Paris Union High School District Board meeting. I'm calling the Paris Union High School District special meeting at 10 a.m. Next item is we are going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can please stand. Please place your right hand over your heart. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. Oh, okay. Our next item is invitation to address the Board of Trustees on agendized and non-agendized items. Before we call our first speaker, I want to read a statement. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that the additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Okay, we have our first speaker of this morning, Aaron Naring.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendents, community members, fellow teachers. My name is Aaron Naring, and I'm currently a teacher at Paris High School. I'm also a resident of Menifee and have been for the last 10 plus years. And I'm here this morning to address the issue about accepting to move forward about the bond measure, placing the measure on the bond this November. And I just want to rise and speak in favor of this movement for the following reasons. Number one, I have 3 children in the Menifee Union School District currently, and my oldest son is going to be going into high school next year. I feel like providing another high school in the Menifee area is our community having the opportunity to take control and continue to provide quality education for all of our students. I would say that if you look at the numbers, just the plain math speaking, the number of students that are in elementary schools in Menifee and the number of students that are going to be promoting into the high schools, this is a grave need for our community. And I just want to speak in favor of that. And I want to encourage everybody to remember that this is our opportunity as a community to move forward and take control of the quality education that we're providing for the younger citizens in our communities. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker, Ms. Helen Stimac.
Good morning, President Dr. Arau, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Bennett, and Cabinet. My name is Helen Stimac, and I am the president of CSEA Chapter 469, an 11-year employee of Paris Union High School District, and more importantly for this meeting, a member of the Paris and Menifee communities since 1989. I have seen many wonderful things happen over the years, and the progress our district has made to make education the forefront of every endeavor in this community. That is why I'm here today to speak to you and to offer my support in favor of the bond to build High School number 4. I'm sure that this is not going to be an easy process, and as a homeowner in Menifee, another burden on my family's finances with an increase on property taxes. But at what cost are we willing to sacrifice the education of our future generations? My husband and I are blessed to have raised 5 wonderful, successful children who all went through the Paris Union High School District system. 2 of our sons currently serve in our country in the Navy and the Coast Guard. One of our sons is a mechanical engineer working for Army Intelligence. Another son is a teacher in the Central Valley, and our daughter is a logistics manager in a community just south of here. Why am I telling you this? Not only am I proud of them for their accomplishments, but I'm letting you know that they were given opportunities because of our educational system. If we allow ourselves to overpopulate our high schools, what sacrifices will we be prepared to make for others to succeed? No time is ever a good time to add more fees on our homeowners, but are we ready to lose services for our students due to overcrowding in our classrooms and campuses? Personally, I don't want higher taxes on my home. My children are grown and have moved away, and I won't see a benefit as an individual, but we should always want to do what is in the best interest of our community and that of our future generations. I have placed my trust in this administration, in Mr. Bennett, our superintendent, our cabinet, and the board to lead us and create the pathway for all generations to come. It is my hope that they will make sound fiscal decisions and at the same time support the employees of this district to offset impending taxes with cost of living increases and wage increases. We will have to make hard decisions someday if we don't move forward today. Manufacturing costs will continue to rise, and at what point will we bite the bullet and decide to support a bond? We are prepared now to take that next step, and I encourage this community to take a leap of faith and stand behind the district in support of this bond measure. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Mr. Juan Martinez.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Superintendent, President, Vice President, and everybody else on the team. First of all, I want to apologize for the way I appear. It's my first ever board meeting, and I was really unprepared. I didn't know you should come prepared with a speech. With that in mind, I just want to let you guys know that my daughter does come to this school district, and so does my son. They're both excelling in the school, and we are for expanding the school and getting more money, but my concern as a parent here is where's that money coming from? Where is it going exactly? How to get more information for everything that you guys want to do? Because honestly, I just got that flyer you guys sent out through the mail, and I mean, there is concerns. There's a lot of things going on in the city that I think we need to fix, and also like renovating the schools that are here now. And the teacher said, the classes are getting overpopulated. What are we going to do with the schools that are here that are overcrowded, and the teachers need help? Other than that, that's all I got to say for it. But I am for helping out and increasing wages and having more stuff in the city. Excuse me. Thank you.
Next, Mitchell Osborne.
Good morning, Board. Dr. Arouche, Cabinet, the School Board, and Superintendent Bennett. He's my boss, so to speak. I'm a teacher at CMI. I've been a resident of Paris for 15 years, school teacher for 12. And I just want to say my support for the bond measures goes far beyond just our discussion today. It is about children. My business is of educating children. And I want to show my support and how I can get that message out to everyone who says that we are here for the students. And a small price that we pay for this bond measure go not just for me personally, California Military Institute, needing a gym or another school. We need to basically make sure that all students in all places of the district needs are met. So again, I want to show my support and how I can help. Just ask me, you know where to find me. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, our next speaker, Shantz.
Good morning, Board. I'm a student at Paloma Valley High School, and I just wanted to come here to show my support for the bond measure because the schools do feel overcrowded, and I believe if there's another school, it can help a lot with one-on-one time with teachers and getting to class and not feeling so rushed all the time. At Paloma, you can feel how hard it is to get from class to class and how full each of our classes are actually. I don't always get to talk to my teacher at the end of class or ask the question I need to know. And I believe if there's another school open, that would give me the opportunity to do all of these things. And so I just wanted to come and show my support for the bond measure, and that I really think it would help, especially with future generations. Like my little brother, if this goes through, he'll be able to go to the new school hopefully. And if he's in a better learning environment, I think that'd be great for him and his future. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Sheila Cortez.
Good morning, board, and everyone who came out on this nice summer day. I'm coming to you just to vocalize my support of adding an additional high school, and not only the additional high school, but to continue the renovations and improvements at CMI and Paris High School. Coming to this meeting, coming to this board, and seeing how you all function is a humbling experience. I'm so proud to be a parent of not only Menifee School District, but of Paris Union High School District. To hear the passion from the parents and the students is just such a blessing for me. Currently, I work in a school and we have so many kids, and I look at Paloma and I look at Heritage and I see the overcrowding, and I see that that's just going to continue to happen. Right now, we're seeing an influx of more mature families moving into the area that have students that are in higher grades versus a couple years ago we had more families moving in with students in lower grades, and this is thanks to the increase of property values right now. So I look at Paloma, I look at my son, I look at all the years I tried to get to that school and beat the traffic, and it's just exciting to see improvements that are going on at Paloma and the opportunity to see that we could have a new school built. I think the time is now. Our students deserve these opportunities. Our students are amazing. They're so successful. I have one son who graduated from Paloma. He's living his dream right now. We have students that are going to Berkeley. We have students that are going to Ivy League colleges. We have students that are going to nursing programs. We have a huge amount of military students. It's exciting to see their progress and their achievements, but as my son stated, it's a little worrisome to think of the fact that they really aren't getting that time with their teachers. We have kids that are coming in at zero period, even though they don't have zero period, to get that time in the lab, to further their opportunities. And so really what I'm talking about is the opportunities for all children, whether we live in the Paris zip code, whether we live in Menifee zip code, and some of us live in the Murrieta zip code. All of our children, all of the children that live and reside by us deserve this opportunity. So I am a huge fan of the possibility of this new bond measure to increase all studies at all school sites. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm here. Bye-bye.
Next speaker, Jennifer Griswold.
Good morning to the President, the members of the board, and Superintendent Bennett. I'm here to speak in favor of the bond measure. I'm a 22-year resident of Menifee. I went through the Menifee Union School District as well as the Paris Union School District as a parent of two amazing young people. The issues that I think are most important that we deal with today is the issue of overcrowding. You've heard a little bit about it. I can tell you, as working as a paraeducator at the Paloma Valley campus, that even that last week of school when we had 600 less students on campus because the seniors weren't required, everything about the campus improved. Behavior improved, access to the facility improved, having dogs on campus so children could come in and students can come in and take a break from their finals. That was all made easier because just a few hundred less students were on the campus. And I think as a member, you will see me in the community, and the one common thread is that I'm always looking to advocate on behalf of options for students. And I think one of the things that Paris Union doesn't promote enough about itself is that our district allows students to make the best choice for them as a student. So say if they are interested in NJROTC and they want to be part of the second in the nation program, they can be at Paloma. If they're 4-H and if they're a student who wants to play the best football, they can go to Heritage. They can attend CMI. And these options are all eliminated when we have overcrowding. It tends to focus everyone's attention on saying no to transfers because we can't overburden one site versus another. So we end up eliminating choices. So the best thing about this bond measure is to allow high school number 4 to open is that it will decrease the amount of students at every site because some will just choose naturally to go to the school that has the greatest performing arts program or a technical program. And I think that that is something that Paris Union does not do a great job of sharing. Because if you look at social media, we're constantly barraged and faced with these naysayers who sit out and point out everything we do wrong. But nobody comes out and says what we do right. And I think what Paris Union does really well is allow parents and students to find the best place for their child to attend and get their education. So I wholly support this bond measure, and I'm hoping that we can get the community on board, alleviate some of the confusion between MUH, Menifee Union School District and Paris Union School District, and work together to do the best for all of our students in the future. Thank you so much.
Our next item is an information item, 5.1, Board Policies, Community Relations, Series 1000.
I just want to share on this real quick to the board. These were some mandated changes that CSBA sent to us, and they're supposed to be in effect as soon as possible. And they told us to just bring it as one reading in August. I didn't think that was fair to you as a board to not see them ahead of time. So I brought them to this meeting, even though we only wanted one agenda item, but I wanted to make sure you knew that that was the reason that's on the board. I just wanted to inform you that that's why that's on the agenda, just so you weren't surprised.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bennett. Okay. Information item 5.2 is Board Policies, Students, Series 5000.
Both of those are under the same conditions from CSBA.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Our next item is an action item, Resolution number 1/1819, Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Paris Union High School District ordering an election and establishing specifications of the election order. Do I have a motion? Second. Mr. Nellison and Trustee Nellison and Trustee Twyman.
Okay, well, today's the day. As this board and many of the folks in the audience who have been with us, the greater us, along the way for more than a year, as the ladies will bring up Joy's presentation, we'll get her started in just a minute. But as you know, we had a study session, last July after we'd looked at numbers, after we had updated our facilities master plans, at each school site to fully understand the needs, looked at long-range enrollment projections and so forth. So had that initial study session with the board where you asked us to form a feasibility committee and look at the feasibility, of a bond measure. Many of the people that you see here before you were part of that feasibility committee or joined us somewhere along the way. Makes me a little bit emotional. Knowing we've worked so hard for a year and hearing so many of the passionate speakers. I know all of us thank them for their involvement. because it's been a lot of work. And so, as I said, today's the day. Joy Tatarka, our feasibility and election consultant, if you want to make your way forward, is going to give just a brief presentation. We do have the members of our finance team here, both bond counsel and our financial advisor, should the board have any questions. But ultimately, this is what we've been leading up to, and you have the decision before you to adopt the resolution to call the election. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Joy.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent, members of the cabinet. Joy Tatarka with TBWB Strategies. As Candace mentioned, I've been here many times before, and I think I started this in June, but it is actually July 16th. So we'll move right to our timeline. I know you've seen this slide a few times before, but I thought in case we had other members of the public who were here and weren't familiar with some of the processes that we've gone through, it would be helpful just to do a quick review. It was back in October of 2017 that the feasibility committee was established. They helped conduct that initial survey, and results were presented to the board about a potential bond measure. And we spent that time from October until now really doing a lot of community outreach. We worked with members of the board. There were 3 town halls that were conducted all over the district. There were many presentations given by members of the cabinet. We also sent out communication via some of the mailers that were mentioned, including one inviting the entire public to this meeting in case they had questions or wanted to get more information. So there's been a lot of information that has been going out. One of those informational mailers that we did included a tear-off survey. So in addition to doing a voter survey that was very scientific, you'll remember Dr. McClarney from True North came and gave his presentation. We also did a survey that anyone could take online, or they could mail back in a postcard. And that again went to all residents in the community. And one of the things that was on that mailer was asking people if they thought that new funding sources were needed in the high school district, especially as they pertain to those projects that you see listed there. And a majority of the community did say yes. They strongly believe that there was need for additional funding sources to help finish those projects. And you can see many of the things that we have been talking about, what this bond measure would accomplish, were those same things that people in the community who could take the survey agreed were very high priorities, clear up into the 85, 70, and even the high upper 60 percentage-wise that they said, yes, they thought that was important. We also talked about the ballot question and AB 195. We had been prepared to bring this to the board last month for consideration, but you'll remember we decided to wait and give it a little more time because we were waiting to hear from the legislature if AB 195 would be suspended. It was enacted in January of 2018, and it required some additional language, you'll remember, in the 75-word ballot statement that would be on the ballot for people to vote yes or no on. It required you to include the estimated annual tax collection, the tax rate, and the duration of the tax. There were several hearings on this in the legislature. There was also a proposed fix known as SB 863. Nothing was done, though, before the legislature decided to recess for the summer. They just didn't get it done in time, essentially. So there are 2 alternative things that could happen. One is they may expand the number of words that are available for a ballot label so that people can add more about what the projects would be completed along with that. Or they would suspend those requirements for 6 months rather than the proposed 2 years that they were proposing. However, you have to adopt the resolution by August 10th in order to be on the ballot. The reality is that that language is probably still going to be required, and that is how we've written the 75 words if you've seen the ballot label. I think that it is the world that we have to live in, and we were hoping that the legislature would address this before now. Since they didn't, we'll have to include that in our ballot language. and, move forward to do the best education and outreach we can with the community at large. So kind of a final summary and next steps. We know that the polling showed that it would be a little bit more challenging if we were required to use that AB 195 language. But as we heard today, and as we've heard since October of 2017, there is a real need in this community. And there has been a swell of support and coming together, I think, of the community as a whole, as everybody is really, looking and planning for the future of the new high school and moving forward in that direction. We know that the voter survey showed support for a potential bond. If you decided not to go now and wait, you would have to wait until 2020. And of course, that would put the building off for several more years. Right now, our community outreach shows that voters believe there is need for additional funding. Overcrowding, as we've heard, is a real concern. And you have a lot of strong community support that's been built to step forward. The district can continue to provide bond information if you decided to move forward today. They could always continue to answer questions and go out and provide information to the community, but they can't advocate for or against a position. To that end, we know that there is an independent campaign committee who has begun to form, and they are very excited about moving forward and helping with that voter outreach. Ballots will mail on October 9th if you move forward, and November 6th will be election day. So that's kind of a big overview of where we are. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those as well.
If you don't mind, I'd just like to make one clarification. As you know, Kerrigan Bennett, our bond counsel, was here at your last board meeting to thoroughly go over the draft resolution. It is in exactly the same form as you saw it last month, other than it has a resolution number on it. Now that's the only thing you changed, right, Anna? And so there still are 2 alternate exhibits. If between August 6th and August 10th, if something is fixed with AB 195, as Kerrigan explained last month, it still does give us the opportunity to change, to submit one or the other, or change the language. So if, for example, they were to expand the 75 words, it gives us the flexibility, either Grant or myself, to submit something to the registrar of voters by that August 10th deadline that would be more favorable and less confusing to the public. So.
And the only thing I'd like to add, excuse me, is, there's been a lot of conversation about district reorganization throughout the community, which the other word is unification. And for that to happen, there's no way that could happen unless there's another high school. So, it's something that's being talked about a lot down in the southern part of our district. And we know that that's something that could be coming up. But we're really looking at how we're going to house our kids. And I think it's it's incumbent on us to put it into our voters' hands, let them make the decision. Do we want that high school to be built down there? Do we want to complete Paris High School? Do we want to add to what we need to do at CMI? So I think for us as a school district, I think it's our turn to let the public decide where we're going. And our recommendation is to adopt this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any questions or comments from the board?
The comments, I believe in this bond. I support it, and I believe it's in the best interest of our students. That's our job here, to look out for their interest and make sure they get the education they came for. I understand it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, so I'd like updates on how the committees come out and where our progress is at those points that are most critical to us to know what's going on. But I do support this, and thank you for all the work you've done on it. So the one thing I do want to say is I believe what we're doing is putting it in the hands of the citizens and the taxpayers. And it's ultimately their decision to do what they want to support, if they want to support or not. So I believe in that, and that's the proper way to go. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Stafford. Trustee Twyman? Thank you.
For me, I would like to just say I am in favor of this bond, but I also want everybody to remember just the amount of explosion of growth that we're having, especially down the southern part of our district. It requires essentially this high school. Otherwise, the overcrowding is just going to be out of control. We think it's bad now. It'll be way worse if we don't get another high school open in the next couple of years. So those are my 2 cents. So.
You know, we are elected to speak on behalf of the community. We listen to everything everyone says all the time, especially you guys. And sir, to answer your question, I know we haven't talked about it today, but we've talked about where these monies would go on restorations of buildings and other facilities. So it's not all just into one school. It's divided throughout the district to help all of our students. Personally, I don't think raising taxes is a solution to anything. You know, I think we have to look at how we spend money personally. But I do believe in the unification. I do believe in bettering the environment for all of our students. And so I think if you have any more questions on how we're spending the money, I think you could come talk to us after this board meeting, and we'll be more than happy to address your questions. But otherwise, I'm in favor.
Thank you. I'm also support this bond measure. I always have said that the decisions that we make, they go through a filter, and that filter is this in the best interest of our students? And there is no question about that the answer is yes, right? So last year I went to a conference on technology in San Antonio, and I remember the slogan, our students are our future. So we need to do now what is going to benefit our students, and the benefit is going to be for everybody. So I also support this one measure. So we are going to vote, yes. It's not going to be an electronic. Do I ask everybody to vote? Okay. So we are going to proceed to vote, and it's going to be orally. Trustee Stafford? Yes. Trustee Twyman? Trustee Nelson? Yes. Trustee Garcia? Yes. And me? Yes also. Okay. This action item 6.1 has been approved, 5-0. Thank you, everyone. Okay, our next item is an action item, and is to adjourn this board meeting. Do I have a motion? Trustee Nelson, Trustee Garcia, and I adjourn the special board meeting of the Board of Trustees for today. I'm sorry? I just have the motion, right? I have the 2 motions. Okay, so please, let's vote. Trustee Stafford? Trustee Twyman? Yes. And yes. So this action item 7.1 has been approved, 5-0. And I adjourn the special board meeting of the Board of Trustees for today, July 16, 2018 at 10:33 p.m.